Shalom, shalom to the 144,000, the elect. Before I get started, let me give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rukah HaKodash, the one to the apostle nails the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the brothers that are preaching the truth in the four winds of the earth. May Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, have mercy upon you. Alright, let's get right into it. The video I did yesterday, well, late this morning, back to the morning again, and was named, what was the name of that video? Damn. Oh, y'all, give me 1 second. What was the name of that video? Oh, I Don't Need No Man. So it's like a part 2. I Don't Need No Man / Welfare Over Fathers. So this is actually the name of the document in 1967. I know I'll be quoting. I quote a lot. I'll be talking about 60s and 60s babies. So since I'm a 60s baby, I always talk about 60s. But I decided to put up one of these videos, these documentaries concerning how before most people, cause these videos are on the internet, but a lot of people probably haven't even seen these videos. So I decided to do a little part 2, maybe do a part 3 or 4 concerning these short documents, documentaries, or should I say, that concerning us as a people and how we end up in the predicament that we're in. And I keep stressing that people love to say that Esau Edom does not have anything to do with us being in the condition that we're in, especially the women separated from the men, and the women, got the sisterhood and all this crap here. Esau Edom is the number one individual that is the reason. He created what we would call in the hood niggas. That's what they is. That's what they are. Right? That's a creation of Esau Edom, the so-called white man. So, this is another video for you Negroes. Always talking about some that the so-called white man don't have anything to do with our condition. Pull yourself by your own bootstrap. A bunch of. Anyway, that's why they feeling the pains and the woes that we felt as a people. Now Esau Edom is living check to check. Most of them in this country right now today. So let's get into the documentary. It's kind of long, so I'm gonna skip through some of it. I'm gonna play most of it, and I'm gonna do less talking tonight. So let's get into it. Hold on, I'm turning this thing up here. Now listen to this here now.
I'm gonna save my dough. Get away from here. I ain't gonna come back no more.
Welfare mothers, and the children too, feel that they are on a dead-end street. That the way things are, there's not enough money and no way to hold up your head. And so they've begun what amounts to a welfare revolt.
You look on TV and you see that poor little kid from another nation. Oh, he looks so pitiful. I feel so sorry for him. But I can't overlook the fact that we have poor little kids in this nation.
Mrs. Etta Horn is a leader of the welfare rights movement. Their principle and their overwhelming complaint is that there simply is not enough money to raise a family, and then that it's given in a self-defeating and self-perpetuating way, that it degrades the people who receive it.
I have children. I look at my kids' face, and I think, am I going to really prove to them where it starts at? They're always screaming about delinquents. American Welfare Department makes delinquents.
There is an evil system around.
Martin Luther King believes that welfare is part of that system, damaging to black and white alike.
Will not get right until this evil evil system is removed, because as I have listened and as I've looked and as I've lived in the ghetto, I've seen what this evil system has done to my brothers and my sisters. I've seen how it has left little children with clouds of inferiority formed in their little mental sky. I've seen how this evil system has transformed nice, decent young women into prostitutes. I've seen how this system has transformed nice, decent young men into dope addicts trying to escape the ugliness of their daily lives.
Let's skip a little, y'all, so y'all just bear with me. All right, bear with me. Now, this first young lady right here, she's a what they will call a Puerto Rican today, right? Which is from the tribe of Ephraim. Now, y'all got to understand that when the Puerto Ricans came over here, you see that because they very light, fair, right? I ain't got time to explain every detail concerning this, but I'm just saying that what they did, what the white folks were doing, is that they was calling them white. And you know, a lot of these Puerto Ricans, they think they white. I mean, just to set up a point, because in a couple more minutes, I'm gonna make a point concerning this here.
Another child is on the way, but the father of her children has deserted her. The fact that governs everything else in Mrs. Ortiz's life is money, or the lack of it. Her inability to give her children the things they need. But Mrs. Ortiz is comparatively fortunate. She lives in New York, which has one of the highest welfare standards in the country. Some places, Mississippi and some other southern states in particular, keep welfare recipients at the edge of starvation. 30 cents a day for each child in some areas, 50 cents a day in others. In those last days before the welfare check arrives, the children subsist on what their mother bought 2 weeks previously, mainly cereal, sometimes potatoes. Mrs. Ortiz, with 4 children and a 5th on the way, is probably beyond the point of marriage. The men she meets rarely earn more than $80 a week. If she marries, her welfare check would most likely be cut off. The men cannot support her, and therefore they cannot marry her. At age 20, she may already be permanently consigned to the welfare rolls. The problems of the Ortizes are similar.
Let's get to the nitty gritty of it, y'all. Let's skip a little here. Let's get down here some. Okay, right here. This is cool right here.
Without food from Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, until Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Hold on, let me go back, y'all. My bad. Let me go back a little bit. Because this is a so-called white woman. I was going to make a point concerning the Puerto Rican and the so-called white woman.
Beyond the point of marriage. The men she meets rarely earn more than $80 a week. If she marries, her welfare check would most likely be cut off. The men cannot support her, and therefore they cannot marry her. At age 20, she may already be permanently consigned to the welfare rolls. problems of the Ortizes are similar to those of welfare families in other cities. Los Angeles, Denver, Chicago, Detroit.
I have never received my check on time. Now, they say they put them out, but now, like yesterday, you're supposed to have been here yesterday, and it didn't arrive, and I'm waiting today for it. Now, 2 weeks ago, it was supposed to have been on a Friday, so it didn't arrive. So I waited Saturday until the mailman went by. Still no check. So I called down there for emergency order, like they told me to. There is no such thing as emergency order on a weekend. So in other words, my children went without food from Friday afternoon, Saturday, Sunday, until Monday afternoon at 2 o'clock.
Mrs. Jane Wilson is a Detroit welfare mother. The premise of the ADC program is simple: that children without visible means of support must be aided by the state. But to be eligible, a mother and her children must be without a man in the house.
Well,
Without a man in the house. Without a man in the house, y'all. This is what they were creating, what they was doing, right? But clearly they was not pushing it in the same manner that they were doing for white folks. Because I know when I was growing up, the white man was always in the house with his woman. Always. You know, but they went the extra mile in keeping the so-called black man out of the homes of the women.
my husband left me in September, and then I went down to the emergency shelter, welfare shelter, and then I had to go through the welfare, fill out all these papers, drag all 5 kids on the bus, go down there, sit there and wait for 3-4 hours until they come around to you. I felt like the lowest thing on earth when I went to the welfare. I felt like
people used to be ashamed of being on welfare and being on food stamps. It used to be a shameful behavior. Now they glorify it. They glorify having food stamps and stuff. They glorifying it. Yeah, that was a shameful thing. Just like it was a shameful thing for a woman to be having children without a man. They didn't play that. But now, you know, this is the not the actual beginning, but the 60s was a larger, where you see where it was gradually. Well, I can't say what y'all see. You know, I can only speak on when I was coming up, when I was a child or whatever, right? Cause trust me, it was a lot of us in the home too. 12.
they were all better than me.
Well, 12. Yeah, I'll say 12. But you know, at one point in every time when we was teenagers, it was at least 8 or 9 of us in the home.
That they could walk all over me, which I got down on my hands and knees to them and begged them for coats and boots for these children at wintertime. I actually got down on my hands and knees, and you can ask anybody down at that office. I actually got down on my hands and knees and begged them. And you know what? And when I went down there, sure, they gave me the coats and boots. Sure, after you get down on your hands and knees and you beg, that's the only way you're going to get anything from the welfare. And to this day, I have never gotten anything from the welfare for myself.
Breakfast in the home of Carol King.
Now here's the difference now. See the so-called white folk, they looking like they was what? Pretty decent, right? And when they was pretty decent, but listen to the conditions of a so-called black woman and her children.
A Cleveland welfare mother with 9 children. On the days before the welfare check arrives, there is half an orange for each child.
A half of orange. Most of y'all can't even go now can't go 2-3 hours without having a full belly. Obese.
Mrs. King has become involved in the welfare rights movement because she feels she doesn't get enough money to raise her family. She gets less than 80 cents a day for each of her children. The Ohio legislature approves only 3/4 of the amount that the state welfare department felt was a minimum necessity in 1959.
What's the matter?
The rise of ADC recipients in the last 6 years has been particularly dramatic among Negro families in the northern ghettos. Giving aid only when a husband is absent pushes the man out of the house. His presence is an economic hardship.
Pushes the man out of the house. Huh? Welfare over fathers. Pushing the man. You want to watch this yourself, man. You can look it up, 1967 documentary, Welfare Over Fathers.
And a whole class of women and children are growing up in the northern ghettos knowing neither husband nor father, only dependence on welfare. Life on welfare means waiting in line for food stamps, as for everything else. After getting her welfare check each month, Mrs. King's first stop is a food stamp center in the heart of Huff, Cleveland's Negro ghetto. She pays $110 for $158 worth of food stamps, which must be spent only on food. The idea is that the state guides the spending of welfare mothers, and the women resent the implicit moral judgment that they don't have the capacity to care properly for their children.
We are bitter because we are faced with trying to raise children without money. People on welfare, if they had money enough to at least exist on, I'm not saying, because I don't have a college diploma, that I should have, $300 a week, but I'm saying that people on welfare have a right to a decent living in a rich country like America. And, like we can always, send charity overseas, and it's, for years, we've been in poverty as a country, and that I'm concerned with,
See, she's speaking about being poverty as a country. No. In the ghetto, we the ones that was in the ghetto. You had your what they would call rednecks here and there, but they wasn't in the same condition that the so-called blacks were in. Esau Edom got a lot to pay for, man. Esau Edom is definitely the accuser of thy brother, boy. He got a lot to pay for.
Country that, gets concerned with hunger in India, but's not concerned with hunger in the United States. They talk about planning for a future. You have to first have something to plan with. You don't plan a meal, unless you got, something to eat. And you don't plan a future unless you have something to plan with. And this is what, society's going to have to face. They're talking about future America. And, our kids are part of that future society. And, and to deprive them from the time that they're, babies, now they say, work with 16-year-olds. That's crazy. A 16-year-old, it's too late.
Growing up without enough money is hard enough. But there are other cold realities about growing up on ADC.
That's what it was called then, y'all, ADC. Let's go up a little bit to this lady named Brenda. ADC, that's what they called it back then, And then back then we had paper stamps up to the 90s, to like the early 90s, like I think they came out papers that were like mid-90s. I think they stopped getting food stamp. Stopped dealing with the paper. This is right here. Let's stop it right here. Boy, Eve shaking her ass. Boy, Eve love to dance.
This is survival and escape in Huff. Music, movement, and this moment. But in the morning, no job that will pay a living wage. begins again. Brenda is 19, unmarried, and she has just had a baby. She's learning to care for him on her own.
Listen to her mindset now. This is where it come from. This is where y'all get that from. This is your grandmothers. This is your great grandmothers. This is your grandmothers. We just say grandmothers. Some of y'all great grandmothers. Some of y'all having children that were teenagers.
She's trying to get a job to support him, and she lives with her aunt, who has 5 children of her own. Money was the reason she decided not to marry Kenneth, the father of her child.
I mean, I would have married him, you know, while I was carrying the baby, but he had no job and couldn't support us and his sister getting married. When his sister getting married, so I said, wait. I plan on marrying him next year, no sooner than next year. Have to give him time to work first. I mean, what's the sense of marrying somebody if he can't support you? That's his job to support you and the baby, not my job to support him and the baby.
See, that was the so-called white women was pushing in Eve's ear, man. Right? Because back then it wasn't about white people giving you what you needed for as ADC, food stamps. You know, what you call today EBT. You know, we want to see, and not like today. Right now, you go try to get food stamps or some kind of help for government. You ain't got nothing but so-called black women up here now. You know, giving shit to who they want to give it to.
So after he started working, you know, work more than he been working, then I marry him. And I think he's able to take care of 2.
Many hills? Not necessarily.
Many of the girls who go on welfare never graduate from high school. A girl who gets pregnant in most high schools is automatically expelled.
See there? Expelled. This is why you see all these women, a lot of these sisters online, because, you know, even up to date, a lot of them when they get pregnant, they be ashamed. A lot of them be dropping out. That's why a lot of them dumb and they don't know nothing. And they be online talking and trying to act intelligent, trying to use words. That's why they all sound alike. They don't just look alike, all look alike. They all sound alike too because they all do what? All they do is repeat shit after one another. A bunch of dummies. That's what they are.
Usually she doesn't come back. She's on her way to a lifetime of dependence on welfare. The Websters...
Lifetime. Because I know when I was a child, coming up, shit, I know women was let me see, I was grown when I got to be 30 years old, 40 years old. Shit, women was on welfare when I was a child, and they still on welfare now. Shit, that is crazy. And then when her mother died, then her daughter take over the welfare, and she be on there.
School in Washington, D.C. is a high school for pregnant girls. A psychotherapy session is a weekly part of the curriculum.
When I first found out that I had become pregnant.
This is the First Sisterhood right here, y'all. First Sisterhood. Check them out.
And when I found out that there was this school called Webster, I thought that I was going to be shut out away from the other people and that I was going to be an outcast. But when I came into Webster, it seems that I had more what you would say, people on my side, more attention going towards my way. And with the help of Miss Gill and then with the help of some of my good friends here, I seem to be making it and all.
Being here with these girls, you know, are closer to you. I think that all of us are closer together than girls that have not been pregnant, because they all have their opinions and they can easily say things. But we have, we're all going through the experience.
Mrs. Patricia Schiller is a clinical...
See the white woman? She was always in the midst of us. Always in the midst. Even when I was a child, most of the women that was in the school, most of the teachers that was in the school was so-called white women. Very seldom you didn't start seeing them black teachers. Shit, probably until I'll say, I don't know. I mean, I didn't grow up all over the world. I'm just saying when probably what, the 80s, going into the mid 80s, you probably seen some teachers then. Some black teachers. I'm talking about. I mean, quite naturally, it was one here and one there, two there, but most of the teachers were so-called white women, man.
Psychologist. She directs the conversation toward future plans and prospects.
Well, I got a job. I'm going for an interview today. And I filed for support from the father in the court. And it should be coming.
See that? See that? What she say? She filed for support in the court from the father. This is what they did. This was all this is a plan, y'all. The so-called white man keeping his foot on the so-called black man's neck and keeping him down, and they didn't care whether he had money for himself or not. This is where all this stuff started from, y'all. Y'all love to try to put everything on the backs of so-called black people and leave the so-called white man out and saying that they didn't have anything to do with our condition. He was a lie.
Through by the time I get back in school in September. For a long time, I was under the firm belief that no one really has any excuse for being on public assistance. But when my grandparents and my father found out I was pregnant, their first attitude was, we aren't going to do anything for you. And my grandmother told me from the beginning, you may not bring this baby into my house. Now, she has responsibility.
See, because when them women were getting pregnant, them young girls were getting pregnant, and they ain't got no man, and tell myself no man, that's a shame. They will kick you out on the streets. Huh? But right now, it's a trophy. It's you do it for what? For monetary gain. For what? Just to get money for them children.
For me until I'm 18 years old. I talked to my social worker here at school, and I have talked to people down at child welfare. And it's being made possible right now for my baby's born in September for me to put that child in a foster home and to visit it. And they'll take care of it until after I finish the 12 months.
See, taking your children, and then God knows what they were doing with them, put them in a foster home. White people was doing that shit heavily back then. Taking your children and putting them in their home and God knows whatever they were doing with them. Because a lot of these women, they would get to the point to where Eve was used to not being with having children and not having them.
Grade, and I'll be 18, I'll be on my own, and then I can provide for my child in my own way. And therefore, I think that it can be a good program.
When a girl drops out before completing her high school education, she finds it difficult to get a job to take care of the baby. In many instances, this would force a girl to go on public welfare. If she gets
Mrs. Fabola Gill is the school's principal.
Which is terrible, and there doesn't seem to be any way out of this for me. She is likely to have another out-of-wedlock child, and as the babies continue coming, she gets farther and farther down into her state of depression.
Many of our young girls would like to work, and they have tried. They really have tried to support their family, but the system and everything else just tears them down, and eventually they just become satisfied with welfare, and they don't try anymore because they see there's no sense of trying until this whole system has changed.
Jeanette Salters, a welfare mother, works in Head Start and receives a small supplement to her check.
You know, people talk about the ADC mothers don't want anything.
I gotta skip a little, y'all, because I'll be here all night watching this. Y'all, like I said, you want to watch it? 1967 documentary Welfare Over Fathers. Let's go up into where they say what the world, the man not having money to support himself. Yeah, he I think it's like 24. You see, this just to prove and show you that that they were using that the men not even having money to support themselves, and y'all already know that they kicking them out the home. So let's see this out.
If a man marries you, that he should, take on the initiative of supporting your family. And, to tell a man that makes, $125, $135 a week, that he should accept me and 9 kids and support us is crazy. Because, realistically, I would feel that if I married a man in this position, that, it wouldn't take but maybe 6 months. If it took that long, he would begin to resent my kids. He would hate me, he would beat me, and he'd scream at the kids. He'd start beating the kids out of frustration. And, maybe...
See, understanding. I mean, not saying it ever justified to do neither of those things, but, once... See, the so-called white man keeps his foot on us, man, on the so-called black man's neck. He don't never want us to come up at all, period. He can care less whether we're in prison or dead and gone.
It wouldn't be because he didn't love me and the kids, but because he was, being deprived of, just having, a pair of shoes on his feet and proper food for himself.
See there? Depriving the man of what? Or even keeping shoes on his feet to go to work in. Esau Edom is the core problem for our conditions over here in America, man, and still is today. Y'all look at these athletes and look at these football players, basketball players, which is a small. You know how small percentage that is, man, of millionaires that's up in America that play football, basketball, of so-called black people, man. Even though we are the majority of the people that play the sports. What that, 2%? What do you mean, 1% of our population? Huh? Of the so-called black man? That's not a whole lot of millionaires, man. And the ones that do make millions of dollars, that have nice contract, $45 million, $50 million, even $100 million. Before they leave the if you're making that kind of money, why would you have to stay in the NBA or NFL 5, 6, 10 years? Because they give them the agents, and what happens? The agents rob them blind. They just rob them, and then Jake don't know that. A lot of these dudes just ignorant and dumb as the women, because they don't have no what. All they do not do is what? Is spend money. The hell I need a white man over my money and tell me how to spend my money. But this is the game. This is a portion of the game. Which is a whole other story. Let's keep pushing.
For kids that he wasn't responsible for, and this is, thinking realistically.
Weeping and crying for someone to love.
In Cleveland and elsewhere, very little economic incentive exists for women to get off welfare.
They would like for you to go out and go to work.
Very little. Let's get down. Let's go a little further. I want to prove this point when it comes to men. They're not aiding men in their struggles. That's what I think about right here.
Yesterday. All right. You want to try that one for us, Mr. McQueen?
Leroy McQueen, who is getting his high school diploma and hopes to go into computer work, is a welfare father on a training program. It's a myth that the welfare rolls are filled with able-bodied men. Less than 1% of those on welfare are capable of working. In 1962, realizing that ADC ignored men and tended to break up families, Congress passed the ADCU program.
See that? Ignored men and did what? Wanted to break up the families. Now you don't have no reporting of this magnitude and giving it to you this straightforward.
Aid for the dependent children of the unemployed. Mr. McQueen worked in a print shop for 7 years. One day, the shop went out of business. Mr. McQueen could not find another job. Shortly after he went on welfare, Mr. McQueen's wife died, and he was faced with the prospect of raising his 5 children himself. The welfare department gave him a temporary professional
Now check out how they do them now.
homemaker.
Can read it? Maybe you'll have some more sometime, huh?
Now right now he got a homemaker so he can go to work and work. He got a somebody that's coming in and that's cleaning up and watching for his children while he go to work.
You still don't want any water?
A midday snack is water and Jell-O.
Water and fucking Jell-O, man. How many of y'all can live off water and Jell-O midday snack?
Now he remains on the welfare rolls as he gets an education. He has the added burden of raising a family.
Hi. How you good?
He does the cooking and cleaning up himself.
Right now, not so much noise in there. Not so much noise. Come on, eat. Gregory, Reginald, Gina, Stevie, come on, eat.
Dinner is usually beans with some ham hocks, and as in most welfare homes, no milk. Almost all starches, little meat.
All starches. This is why you see. This is why we're poor. Got poor health now. Number starches, no meat.
Mr. McQueen's dilemma is compounded by the fact that he must find help for his children while he is at school or work.
Take your time, it'll cool off.
Mr. McQueen has many problems. He lives for the day when he can earn enough so that his children have proper meals, the day when he can provide for his family adequately, when he can relax with some assurance about the future.
Take your bath. Go to bed. Come on, baby. You want to sleep? Huh? Want to go to bed? Lay down.
Today, Mr. McQueen does not go to school because the homemaker didn't show up. His children play in the backyard.
If I could get a housekeeper, this would help me more than anything else. Just someone to clean the house. Cooking I do generally most myself, but even then, well, the right person cooking right, I could stand that, I think. But I think mostly what we need here is just a person to be in the house and help with the cleaning and getting the kids off to school. You know, now that I go to school myself and giving them their lunches, and I could take over in the evenings.
In the past, I was able to get you an emergency homemaker, and this seems to be a very bad month. They're completely filled up.
See that? See that? They always never no help, especially for a so-called black man. And always a so-called white woman telling you, claiming she's there to help you, which is a bunch of lies, man. Let's go down a little bit to the sisterhood. I think it's around. Let's go a little bit. Right about here.
Sorry for him.
Cleveland women meet in Mrs. Gaston's home. The desire to change and improve the system has brought hundreds of Cleveland welfare recipients into welfare locals. The movement is a young one in Cleveland, and nationally it's about a year old. The experience of being in an organization is a new one for most of the women. Building a membership means gaining a strategy for organizing.
I was under the impression, and I was told that no one person have to join a local to get any kind of help or aid from the local.
That's what your group says.
That's right. You don't have to.
But all the other groups don't see it like you do. Because I brought it back to my group how you all felt, remember? That this was primary.
The women believe that the first step in reforming the welfare system is for them to get adequate money. They do not feel they need rehabilitation by caseworkers who make continual investigations into their eligibility for welfare. They want enough money to raise their families. They want a chance at jobs which will pay them decently. They want a share.
We're out here to take in relief clients to take and join our local union, welfare union, all over the city.
All right, y'all gotta get these precepts in. Y'all want to watch that, man? That's a little over 40 minutes, y'all. So, just the name of it is 1967 documentary, Welfare Over Fathers, and you can see the whole thing, you know. But I gotta get these precepts in so I can close this lesson out. Which is I'm gonna start at what is the first precept I quoted? And see, Esau Edom. He all he do, you know, all they do is lie on us, man. They lie on us. They keep us. They gotta keep us down especially I'm talking the so-called black man. Now you know that Eve always had some form of support from these devils, but it was hard in the beginning. Yes, it was hard in the beginning, but this is the overall effects of what Edom, the so-called white man. You know, and when you hear Jake say this here, they be sounding like fools. They be sounding like fools. And just like even today when you hear Eve say, I don't need no man. Right? You don't need no man because you can have everything what? Now at the present point, now y'all gonna need a man because Isaiah 4:1 coming in effect. Yeah. 7 women should take hold of one man. Now your conditions are what? Are worsening, and now you see the starting, and now we're at the ending of what? Or you all receiving free handouts from the government. What I want? 12, Revelation 12 and Revelation 12 and 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now it comes salvation and what in strength in the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Mashiach for what? For the accuser of our brethren. Who that is? Esau Edom, the so-called white man. They're always, they've always found ways to what? Hey man, to delete us, man. Literally. The accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accuse them before our God day and night. And trust and believe, it never quits. They always lean, just like now. What they doing right now? They making Jake the face of what? Of their condition. They blaming the ways. Look at the northern kingdom, the northern and the southern kingdom now. You Negroes ain't getting away. They blaming their conditions on the Hispanic and what? And the so-called black people. We're blaming all of the violence in America. I say first and foremost on the so-called black man. Hey man, they ain't gonna change, man. They're not gonna ever change. This is what they do. What that is? I think it's Psalms 137. We are the what? We are cause one thing. We are the butt of every damn joke. Which is 137, Psalm 137 and 3. For there they carry us away captive, require of us a song. And they that wasted as require of us mirth. For what? Which is they use us for what? For their pleasures. Of us to what? To entertain them. And before these times, Esau Edom you using our women as what? Straight bed wenches, man. You know. It's saying, sing us one of the songs of Zion. Always making fun of us. Always. Esau always hated Jacob, man. That's Genesis. Esau always hated Jacob. And he still hates Jacob. Esau Edom still bitter about that birthright, y'all. And he's gonna, what that is, 20, I think it's 20, I know it's 27. 27 and 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning my father are at hand. Then I will what? Slay my brother Jacob. Jacob is who? The so-called black man. Esau is who? The so-called white man. So they are still enemies. They was enemies in the womb, and now they're enemies out of the womb. And they're going to continue to be in that manner until the Heavenly Father. But guess what? Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, which is the true God of heaven, hates Esau. How can God hate somebody he created them? Hey, what that is, Romans 9 and 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. This is why Esau Edom has been everybody but what? He has been everyone but Esau. He had took everybody's nationality. He had played. He will say that he's what, the modern day Egyptian. Look at the Egyptians, the movie that they play on their TV over here. The so-called white man is the Egyptian. He have taken everybody, but he ain't what? One role he ain't never wanted to be or play is Esau Edom. Why? Why every role, everybody in the Bible was mentioned, but what? But Esau, and they never said they Esau, but they everybody else. Come on, man, wake the hell up, man. Like I say, but the Lord hate that devil, man. Hate him, man. I think that's Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiasticus, should I say? Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, which is 27 and 24. And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring. That ring means what? What goes around comes around. So Esau Edom is at what? Is at the end of his what? Of his rulership. Of him being damn, I did the wrong thing, y'all. I'm reading I didn't want to read that. I wanted Ecclesiasticus 27 and 24. I didn't want that one. I wanted, y'all, bear with me. Bear with me, y'all. I'm reading the judgment. I'll come back to that. I want Ecclesiasticus 27. I quoted the precept, but we're reading something else. Ecclesiastes 27 and 24, which is let's see, I got 29. Okay, I'm back a little bit. Ecclesiasticus, which is in the Apocrypha, 27, 20, 24. I have hated many things, but nothing like him. For the Lord will hate him. Who? Esau Edom. Just like I read earlier, Romans 9 and 13, Jacob have I loved, or Esau have I hated. The Heavenly Father, like I said, he created him, but guess what? What that precept is, Proverbs. I come back to that precept. Let me see. What I'm looking for? Proverbs. I'm looking for Proverbs 16. That's what I want. Proverbs 16, right? 16 and 4. The Heavenly Father, I tell you what, let's read this again before I read this right here. Which is what did I just read? 27. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 27 and 24. I have hated many things, but nothing like him. Him who? Esau Edom. For the Lord will hate him. Romans 9 and 13. The Lord will hate him. And like I said earlier, you know, you all have a problem, and always thinking that the Heavenly Father can't hate nothing He created. Which is madness. You know, the balance is what? Good and evil. Proverbs 16, 16 and 4, the Lord has made all things for himself. Yeah, even the what? Even the wicked for the day of evil. Which is what we would. Even though the days of evil when Esau Edom, like now, we're definitely in the days of evil because the wicked still has what? Has control of the earth. The wicked. Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And man, listen, man. If you can't get this here, you can't get it, then you can't get it. It's just not for you. But for the one that is for, they will get it. And they will understand. Because the Lord created all things for himself, including the wicked man. Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. Which I think it goes into a season and a time for what? For every purpose. Yes. Which is Ecclesiastes 3 and 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under what? Under heaven. Where's under heaven? The sun, which is what? Heaven is what? It's earth. Here on earth for us. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is what? Which is planted. A time to kill. A time to what? What that is, Deuteronomy 32:39 goes into the Heavenly Father, 32:39. I, the Lord, created all these things. Let me see something here. Got a couple more precepts running through my head. I don't want to, like I moved like I did a minute ago, just moving too fast and quote the scriptures, which is Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I live, I make alive, I wound, and I heal, and neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. Verse 3 again of Ecclesiastes 3 and 3, a time to kill and a time to what? To heal. A time to break down and a time to what? To build up. Verse 8, a time to love. The Lord created all things to love and a time to hate. He hate. If you want to hate Esau Edom, create Esau Edom for the wicked of the earth and hate him, that's his what? He is the Heavenly Father. Because Amos 3 and 6, should there be evil in the city and the people not be afraid? Should there be evil in the shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord have not done it? A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace, which is what? Which is balance. You can't have a perfect balance of everything love. Like Esau Edom be telling y'all and telling you everything is love. Everything can never be love. Everything can never be love, y'all. But his time is almost here. His time is almost here. Which is Revelations 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Who killed us with the sword? Who led us into captivity? Esau Edom, the so-called white man. And we're still over here in what? In his hand. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the patience and the faith of the saints. Psalm 148:14 goes into what and tell you what? Who is the saints? Which is the Israelites. What that is? Isaiah. I'm moving a little fast, y'all, because I'm trying to get through this here so my for the thing went out on me. Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with city. Talk about Esau, Edom. That's his judgment. This is why America is in the condition that it is in, because it has what? It has lived its course, and it's over with. For them to what? They will no longer, no one else will have rulership of the earth. The Israelites will be the only ones from this point on, after America is destroyed, that will have what? Dominion of the earth. The other nations would not have, they didn't have their time to rule. It's now a time for what? For the kingdom of heaven, which is for what? For the Israel. Everybody going to the kingdom. Every 18 nations of people going to the kingdom. But there's going to be what? The Israelites are going to be, y'all going to be under the feet of the Israelites. Obadiah 15. For the day of the Lord, Yahweh, is near upon all the heathen. All the heathen. And not just the so-called white man. He's just the number one enemy of this time. But all of the nations are going to be under the feet of the Israelites. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives of this land. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. There's no getting around that, man. And like I was reading earlier, which was 2nd Esdras 5:42. What is that? Yeah, 5:42. Which I got confused earlier. I was just ready to get to that precept so fast, huh? Which is 2nd Esdras 5:42. And he said, which is what? Concerning judgment, and that it come back around to what? It just what goes around comes around, in other words. And he said unto me, I would liken my judgment unto a ring, like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. So Esau's judgment is going to come like a thief in the night. And they're going to be the end of what? Of Esau, Edom, and them and their proud, wicked behavior. And the Israelite, because the scriptures speak about when the wicked are in authority, the people moan. This is why the people moaning, and the earth is what? In the worst condition that it ever been. Esau, Edom has killed everything. You can't get a decent meal, a piece of fruit, water, because Esau, Edom has what? Has destroyed everything. Hunting animals for what? For sport and not for food. Listen, man, the earth is what? Esau, Edom has destroyed the earth. So he has to what? He has to go. So that'll be all, y'all. So I maybe tomorrow I go into another one, but we'll see. So in the say call halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah Bahashim Rokah Kudash Shalom.